'Twas grilling in the slithy. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the story. It's not mine, so that's not what I'm gonna say. This is basically a true story, and so I'll get into it. This was like years back when I was still like a young teenager. I was invited to go to my cousin's graduation party. I'm pretty sure it was a graduation party. It was a while ago. She was in a family, one of our families, that loved to do things in excess. So they decided to make this like a really big deal bash, you know? So they had, a rented hall, DJ, caterers, and all that type of stuff. And it was my first time going to something that big, at least as far as I can remember anyway. I'm pretty sure there were probably other really big deal bashes, but I can't recall them right now. But I was dressed in my best, had a nice little kid suit, and prepared to meet tons of people who I was sure I had no clue who they were, but they've always claimed to have seen me as a little baby. I'm pretty sure everybody's been in situations like that. I remember when you were, and you can't remember them from Adam. So I joined up with my grandmother and my uncle, and we all set out. I really don't know why more of my immediate family didn't go with me. It's a mystery for another time. So we arrived at a jumping scene, people grooving on the dance floor, DJ spinning a lot of music non-stop, all the popular tunes at the time, as well as oldies, of course, since you got a lot of the older people there. Lots of family was there, tons of family was there, and a lot of their friends and their friends. And of course, I had no clue who most of them were, and of course, most of them didn't know me. The food was really good. Well, then again, it would have to be, they had caterers and everything. And I was moving from table to table, checking out all the different edibles and they had. And I had enough class in me, even as a teenager, to not start picking out until at least my grandmother and uncle were ready to eat, That didn't mean, of course, that I couldn't have a few samples while waiting for them, So I spotted a plate full of small, round, deep yellow balls, right? Just sitting there invitingly on that nice little plate. And I'd never seen stuff like that before. Well-crafted, tiny little balls like that big. And I was wondering, what the hell could these things be? And then suddenly, in my little teenage brain, I remembered hearing about cheese balls, like these little round balls made of sweet, tasty cheese, usually like mozzarella cheese or something. That means I was sure they were mozzarella, they were the right color for it, and I loved mozzarella cheese. So that was all the incentive I needed. So I reached over and I grabbed one of those little tasty mozzarella balls and popped it in my mouth. Only, it wasn't a tasty little mozzarella ball. It was a ball of pure butter. So I sort of went from this to... Now, I don't know if any of you guys have ever had a wad of pure butter in your mouth, but I can tell you, for those of you who haven't gone through this, it's not a pleasant experience. I mean, sure, on a toasted cinnamon raisin bagel, smothered over popcorn, or say mixed in a steaming bowl of rice pudding, it's a beautiful thing. But by itself, at least as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty damn disgusting. And I can't even describe to you how horrible the taste was. All I know is that I had to get that gob of liquid metal out of my mouth as quickly as possible. That's what it tasted like liquid iron. And the only problem is I didn't see any garbage bins to spit into. And at the time, I had not yet heard of the delicate art of simply grabbing a napkin and, depositing said mouth contents into it. That's all I knew was must get rid of, and couldn't find anything to spit it in. And I was too revolted by the taste to swallow it. Well, would you? I mean, I know some other people might, but I was just like, when you have something that tastes so horrible that you just refuse to swallow the damn thing, and just thinking about it makes you gag. That was the situation I was in. So I think I had that thing in my mouth for like at least a good 7 minutes or so, if not 10, And during that time, I was desperately looking for anything to spit that out in, like a garbage can, a spare sink, an empty shoe, something to, just dump the thing out in. and there was no help. All I found was just a bunch of elderly people sitting at tables, chatting with each other, and all our gyrating bodies on the dance floor. But no relief. Failing to find a waste disposal unit, I started asking around for the bathroom. Okay, imagine me trying to go around in a party trying to ask people where the bathroom is, or having something that tasted like melted lead in my mouth. And surprisingly, it took a few tries. Not many people there seemed to have known where the bathroom was. What? It wasn't like they lived there. Finally, one good soul directed me to the right direction, and I wasted no time in flying to the place of deliverance and liberating myself from the torture device that I foolishly inflicted upon myself. And after that, I was ready to enjoy the party, you know. Now that my mouth had said contents had been evacuated, and, I rinsed really well, and I was finally able to get back out there and enjoy the party and enjoy the really tasty food. On the way home, I told my uncle and grandmother about it, and they had a very good laugh over it at my expense. So, why tell you this little amusing tale of youthful mishap? Well, besides the fact that I thought it would amuse you guys, I think there's an interesting life lesson in it. See, I tend to find a good amount of people in life who toss little balls in their mouth, thinking it's a cheese ball, only to wish that they hadn't popped a butterball in their tongue. Okay, I guess what I said probably didn't make much sense. Allow me to elaborate, okay? Have you ever seen something or been in any type of situation that at first glance or at first feeling seems like something you'd like, something you'd really want, but in truth you really have no clue what it actually is or what it entails? Like, you might think you have an idea just at first impressions, but then when you get into it or you grab it or dive in, you realize it's a different story, and it's usually not a good one, right? I mean, every now and then first impressions work, but at other times you find yourself diving into situations that you think are sweet, and it turns out they're not at all. We tend to do that a lot, don't we? We just keep diving in, not really thinking about what we're diving into. We're not really seeing it as it is. We as humans do that a lot, But the projection thing, us like just looking at something and then just putting our own thoughts into it just really gets into the way. And it adds to the confusion, and it makes things even more dangerous than they have to be. I mean, it's rough enough going in blind, but to be self-deluded about what you're jumping into makes things even worse. I think it's something to think about, because I find we do that a lot. I mean, we already have faulty perceptions to begin with as human beings. I mean, that's hardwired in our systems, but when we start adding our own thoughts into something that we have no clue what it is that we're diving into, it just makes things worse. It's just something to look out for. So my little advice to add to the end of this little tale of mine is, just be careful in this little party of ours that we call life. Dance to the music played by nature's DJ. Enjoy the food provided. Mingle with your large family and friends who you may not know, but who prove to actually care about you as an individual. And just remember that whatever you're throwing in your mouth, make sure it's a cheese ball, okay? Catch you guys later.